250 Outdoor National Championship. Now let's take a look behind the scenes for this week's Racer X Pit Pass.
Going, man. How's it going, man? All right. All right, man.
There you get a look at the Racer X Mechanics race winner, Ryan Hughes.
Well, he's a pretty good mechanic, but I don't think he's putting any top ends in Billy Lanovich's bike.
Take a look at our results. Carmichael, Ferry, and LaRocco, 1, 2, and 3. John Dowd slips back to 6 in front of Kyle Lewis. And snowcrosser Blair Morgan from Canada gets in the top 15. Ricky Carmichael's pro career did not start at the factory level. Like a lot of kids, he started out at the mini bike level. His father's mechanic, mom is his coach. Rode races like Loretta Lynn's in Ponca City. It's a common path to a common dream.
After we got his first motorcycle, probably about a year after that we got that, we seen that he was real competitive and liked to win.
First time I can absolutely remember Ricky Carmichael was when he was on a 65 at Loretta Lynn's, and it was like as if he was on an 80. He was really turning some blistering lap times there.
And there was a turn that, like, everybody else would come up to the turn and they'd set down and then kind of chop the throttle and then get back on it and ride through the corner, and Ricky would just stand up and go wide open from like all the way down the straight till the next corner. I'm like, whoa.
You could see that this kid, when he was this little red-headed kid on number 167, he was doing doubles and he was doing tabletops that 125s were barely doing.
My mom and dad always, told me, hey, you better work hard so you can maybe get another contract next year, and they never really told me that I was that good, We always just worked hard and we figured good things would happen.
You probably know they're going to be able to make it when some of the older boys that they rode with are, when they're all in the same class, when yours is younger and the older boys, those boys turn 16 and they make it and get a ride, and you can kind of hang with them, then well, then we're probably going to get a ride.
When he got into the pro ranks and started learning what it would take to be on top, everyone found out that this young man has an insatiable desire to win.
I thought he might run up front, but maybe he'd get a little tired or something like that. And then to do what he did in a real confident style, he was for real already then.
There's no sweeter victories, it seemed like, than the first one, though,
In our sport, there's a few perfectionists, and those guys, I think, put in a lot more. I really think they put a lot more effort into it.
If you hang around good people and you surround yourself with good influences, it's pretty easy to get good. And, I've always put 100% into it. I was taught to do it right or don't do it at all, and I think that's the best thing that ever happened to me.
He surrounded himself with a facility that he could train with on him, and he just totally focused on motorcycle racing. That's all he wants to do, and he's more concerned about winning than as much money as he makes.
I don't really think he thinks about it. It's like the records, he doesn't really think about that. We worry about and work on titles. And this other stuff just kind of, I think, falls along in place probably because you're not worrying about it. But the main focus is always that title.
The 250 National Championship is underway. Coming up the inside, it looks like it's Ricky Carmichael. You see Billman on the inside. Carmichael starting out this AMA U.S. National Championship with a giant exclamation point, and there is the checkered flag.
It's always been a long-time goal. In the back of my mind, I've always said to myself, I think I could do it if all the conditions were right and have some luck on my side. I always figured if there's anyone that could do it, I could be the one. And so far this year, it's been unbelievable.
When you interview him, you hear him talk, he says, you know, I just go out and ride and I relax. He's not afraid that someone's going to beat him each week. He just knows go out and do what I do all week and I'll be okay.
And Ricky Carmichael has himself a record. The fastest start ever in 250 motocross, 10 straight moto wins.
He could probably go out and buy a stock bike right now and kick everybody's butt, but he has a great background behind him and great people. And what he has done is beyond anybody's belief.
It has now been exactly 1 year since Ricky Carmichael last lost an outdoor national.
To watch somebody that talented, with that much desire, and have what they're working that hard for come true it's a pleasure for me to watch.
On his way to the 11th straight national win of this season, 14th straight going back to 2001. There's so many records. I don't believe he even has enough room in a Honda truck to take them all back to California.
If I didn't have a perfect season, I mean, how could this would still be a heck of a year. You know, how could it not be with all the winning? So, you know, but a perfect season would be good.
You work all year long to win the title, and just to be undefeated is just icing on the cake.
$23 is what he's got. $24 is what Ricky Carmichael is going after here at the Sobe Nationals at Steel City. David Bailey, what do you think?
I can't even imagine, Davey. I mean, all the stuff up until now, I've either been in his position or I could imagine it. This is beyond, I can't even, I'm at a loss for words of what's going on here.
Well, taking a look at our Suzuki starting lineup here for the second moto, there are 39 riders out there who want to come between Ricky Carmichael and his date with destiny. The car to sideways, they will come right at you and then sweep out to the left. This is the last start of the 2002 AMA Chevy Trucks 250 Nationals, and once again, it's John Dowd, Mr. Holeshot here at Steel City. Where was, oh, he's right there. Carmichael is second. That does not bode well for everyone else, and he's already trying to make a pass on the outside to get ready to come into the whoops. Dowd on the inside, Carmichael on the outside. Double, triple, double out, but Dowd holds on to the lead.
Wow, I thought...
Oh, and just right then he made a mistake. Carmichael doesn't even give you time to comment, does he?
Whoa, and he goes wide. And it still pans out. He goes wide and triples down the hill. You know what? The guy is unbelievable, and, you know, and I've said plenty, I get asked all the time, what would it be like if he raced against you guys in the 80s, the Hannas, the Johnsons, all that? He'd have won his fair share. We wouldn't have liked it. We wouldn't have walked away and practically acted like we were a fan like some of these guys have been doing this season, but the guy is definitely amazing, and I think Brock Glover and myself and O'Mara and Johnson, we're all standing around watching this, and even Hannah up in Idaho probably listening and hearing about it going, that's something else.
John Dowd is second, Tim Ferry a much better start, third, Kyle Lewis is fourth, and Tortelli finally got away cleanly. He's had some problems on the last few starts, but he's now in the top 10. Over the big double, Dowd on the privateer KTM, Ferry on the factory Yamaha. They sprint out a little speed. You caught a glimpse of Carmichael, and Dowd messed up on the inside right there. Looks like he caught some bumps, and Ferry's able to sneak by.
Good move by Ferry just to put himself in position to make the pass. Seems like that's been working well, you know, to go wide around that right-hand sweeper. It seems to set you up better and make the pass. The inside's a little choppier, but Dowd couldn't go wide or he'd have left the door open for Ferry. He's in a no-win situation there.
Let me throw a quick fact out at you. This will be the 351st lap of this 250 outdoor season. Carmichael has led 337.
Well, no wonder he's won all the motos, but, you know, it doesn't mean... You know, the fact that these guys have sort of given up a little bit and are racing for second, even though Ferry is keeping him honest right here, he had to do that in the first place. He had to send these guys into a place in their mind where they're going, well, we're beaten. This is going back to Dowd, holding him off. I was thinking, right on, John. Good for you, but he went so fast into the corner he couldn't hold it. Ricky comes right back in there, takes over the lead. It looks like looked like for a moment he was going to mess up, and then he went wide, came right back out of the corner and tripled it. That was Dowd trying to hold off Ferry. Ferry working on him, not following, outside, inside. Then he drops down into the sweeper and goes around the outside. If Dowd would have taken the line of Ferry, of course, Ferry would have dove back underneath him again. So Dowd just had to go around that berm a little quicker and could have saved a position, but I don't think anybody wants to go into that rut as fast as you need to hold off Ferry that time.
This is the battle for third. That is Dowd leading the Hondas of Nathan Ramsey and Sebastian Tortelli. Tortelli, the second two-stroke in this pack. Of course, our leader, Ricky Carmichael, is out front. David, more and more, it's looking like a four-stroke class, doesn't it? There goes Tortelli, right as I mentioned that past Ramsey. But with the exception today of Carmichael, Tortelli, and Hamlin, Tortelli makes another lightning pass. They're all four-strokes out there at the front of the pack.
Yeah, and it's not like they're going to go away. You know, as a matter of fact, I'd be pretty surprised next year if Carmichael didn't step up and ride one of those 450s. I mean, if he comes out next year and just loses the moto, assuming he wins this one and he's on his way, it would be a disappointment to come out next year, ride a 250 and lose a moto. So why not change the scene and change things a little bit just to give yourself some new motivation? And to me, that would be stepping up on a big bike. And if Ricky could get used to that thing with more power under Carmichael,
it's hard to imagine what
I don't even want to go there.
Look how far away first and second and pulled away from everyone. That was Tortelli in third. I see Dowd in fourth and Ramsey in fifth. Our leaders, Carmichael and Ferry, have checked out. They are on the other side of the Bogora family farm here in Steel City, way out front.
Hats off to Ferry for staying with Ricky. He's matching his pace. These guys, I mean, it's like 3 seconds a lap that they're losing. And, you know, when I was losing 3 seconds a lap during my career, man, I was considering that to be like one horrible day. But these guys are riding well. You know, they're going as fast as they can. Whoa.
Carmichael laying into that berm. You don't think he's still trying? Hits that berm wide open and doesn't shut off even when he blows it apart.
Yeah, and you know what? Some of the Honda guys approach him with that stuff and go, hey, what about that one swap? He's going, oh, that? I had it.
We'll be right back to see if Tim Ferry can stop Ricky Carmichael's perfect season. The 1996 Supercross season will be remembered as the year that Jeremy McGrath dominated, but the 96 AMA 250 Outdoor Nationals, held later that summer, will be remembered as the series that Jeff Emig finally beat McGrath for a championship title. Each went into the last round of the series at Steel City Raceway facing a winner-take-all proposition, as only 2 points separated them in the point standings after 12 of 13 rounds. In the first moto, the Kawasaki-mounted Emig held the early advantage, but many expected him to buckle to the pressure of his career-long nemesis McGrath. The pro was not to be denied, and he held off the determined charge of McGrath to take an exciting moto win. The next time out, Emig proved himself to have nerves of steel, as he once again held off a fierce attack by McGrath for the first half of the moto. At that point, Jeremy seemed to give up, allowing Emig to finally enjoy a day in the sun at his expense. The race would mark Emig's second AMA national title win, and unknown to anyone at the time, it would also mark McGrath's last ever ride for Team Honda in the AMA Nationals. Speaking of Team Honda, you're looking at Nathan Ramsey as he tries to get past the privateer KTM of John Dowd here in the second moto, the Sobe Steel City Nationals. Ramsey sweeps around the outside. Oh, right there. He went a little too close and caught the back wheel of John Dowd. And just like that, a pretty good moto for Nathan Ramsey goes backwards.
Well, that's what Hamlin was trying to do to Lewis earlier in the first moto. He came in on the inside, almost hit that little pile of dirt marking the inside of the corner, and Ramsey was just too hard on the front brake once he hit that thing, and his front brakes worked pretty good, obviously.
Now, Dowd holding on to fourth. Mike LaRocco is fifth, and then it's Kyle Lewis in sixth. Of course, our top three of the factory riders, Carmichael, Ferry, and Tortelli, and they are basically in another county, way out front. Here comes, actually, here's what happened to Ramsey.
Oh, he's trying to make something happen on Dowd, at least give Dowd a look. He comes in and he hits that little inside corner marker. Looked like he might have caught it with his handlebar, too, as he leaned into it, but he was just trying to do a little too much right there. See all the riders going by. He's got to get that thing started, and pass the same guys again, that's pretty frustrating, and the chance at the podium in this moto is pretty much out of reach.
So now it's LaRocco's turn to try to get by the veteran John Dow. They come over the tabletop together. LaRocco on the outside, sneaks up on the inside, and it looks like he might have the power as they come off the big ski Natique double jump. And yes, LaRocco makes the pass stick, so Mike LaRocco has moved into fourth, but he's going to have a ways to go if he wants to catch Tortelli.
And when you watch these guys, you can really see, I mean, there's a huge visible difference between this pace, the way these guys attack corners and get on the power, and then when we get a shot of Carmichael once in a while, the difference is very clear. This was just a nice move by LaRocco, but I think he was being a little bit too nice. He's going, okay, well, I'll go out here. As soon as Dow commits to his berm, I'll just cut to the inside, and that'll be that. But Dow's like, forget it, man. If you're not going to run me into that wall out there, I'm going to stay in it. He almost was able to hang on to that position, but LaRocco was pretty determined to make it happen one way or another. And look at the difference.
Carmichael checking across the track, trying to get a beat on Tim Ferry, the last person with any chance of stopping him from having this perfect season.
He had a completely different line down there. He came down the hill all the way on the outside. Penn was able to get on the brakes, not hit any braking bumps. The whole Honda contingent checking it out, going, please don't let anything happen to that motorcycle. Don't let it be our fault.
Carmichael one more time off the double. A nice sized whip just to salute the crowd, but you can hear them cheering. They know that they are seeing something special, something that's never been done in the history of motocross on either side of the Atlantic Ocean. A perfect season. Carmichael closing in on his 24th moto win in a row. You have to go all the way back to Steel City last year. They even lost a moto, and that was to Mike Brown in the 125 class, but even then he came back to win the overall. Just a few more jumps and a few more turns to go on, well, Dave, it's the most remarkable thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it can only be equaled. It'll never be topped, that's for sure. And you know what I like to see is a kid that works really hard have it come true, because it's just a perfect example of what it takes for all the kids that are following the little Michael Lesseys and LaPaglias and all those kids. They're next, you know, and no hander off the air Natique jump. One little tiny risk before he gets to the finish line jump, and he could probably push it from here.
But he won't have to, because there is the checkered flag. Ricky Carmichael has done it. 24 motos, 24 moto wins. Speedworld's presentation of AMA Motocross is brought to you by Honda, performance leader in motorcycles, ATVs, and scooters. Honda, performance first. And by Suzuki, maker of innovative motorcycles and all-terrain vehicles. Well, there you see Ricky Carmichael getting ready to run up behind a kid that's the most competition he's had all day long, giving the crowd their props, taking a victory lap. It's got to be a great feeling for him and not a very good feeling for his competition. Let's go down to Cameron Steele.
Tim Ferry, second place many times this year. So many people talking about, can you beat Ricky Carmichael? I watched the last moto. You really gave it everything you had, didn't you?
Yeah, that was it. You know, I felt like I rode the best I did all year. I got a good start. I charged right from the beginning, tried to stay with him, and he just had a little bit of an edge on me this year. And you know, I'm closing the gap a little bit. You know, last year he was beat me by a lot more, and no, I'm pretty happy with it. I felt good that last moto. It was a good way for me to end the season. You know, keeping him honest.
But there you see those clouds the weatherman was talking about. Carmichael, Ferry, Tortelli, LaRocco, and Lusk. But overall, LaRocco gets third, and that gives Team USA 1, 2, 3 with Carmichael, Ferry, and Mike LaRocco. And that's coming up on September 29th and 30th out in California. Let's go back to Cameron with Mike LaRocco.
Mike, you've been in this game a long time. You got to be sick and tired of people talking about Ricky's perfect season. But can you reflect on what a perfect season in this motocross game means?
I mean, it's pretty much unheard of. Ricky was ahead of the game this year. He was a card ahead of us, and you know, it showed. I mean, he was fast in practice. He was fast in each of the motos, and got great starts. So I mean, what do you do against that? You can't get him behind you on the start to even mess with him. So. Yeah, know, he earned it. He rode a great season.
Thanks, Mike. Great year, and we look forward to seeing you at Supercross.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Well, taking a look at the results here at the Sobe Nationals at Steel City, Carmichael Ferry and LaRocco. Sean Hillman, 3rd overall last week, comes through with a solid 4th. Nathan Ramsey is 5th, rounding out the top 10. White Brothers rider Paul Carpenter. Let's go back to Cameron. He is with Sebastian Tortelli.
Sebastian ending it up with the podium in the 2nd moto of the year. A tough year for you with all the things went wrong, but a great year for your teammate Ricky Carmichael.
You know, I mean, he did a perfect outdoor year and almost a perfect one in Supercross, you know, except the first big crash he had. And, you know, I'm glad for the team, you know, show that that works great. And, you know, I had a bad year, but, you know, things happen like that. And, you know, next year will be a different year. So, you know, we'll see, look at the future and see what's going on.
Right on. We look forward to seeing you next year, Sebastian.
Thank you.
Of course, next year you'll see Tortelli on a Suzuki. He is switching teams. There's the point standings. Carmichael 600 says it all. Let's go back to Cameron with our champion.
David and Davey, ladies and gentlemen at home, what everybody may have thought was impossible in motocross, Ricky Carmichael, 24 straight moto wins, 12 overalls. I understand about 351 laps led. Ricky Carmichael, you have completed the unbelievable season.
I tell you, you know, I never expected to do this year, and you know, I just wanted to with the way everyone was riding so good. Timmy was riding good all year, and Ezra stepped it up at the end there. And I tell you, I never expected to do what I did this year, and you know, the Honda was awesome. Dunlop tires. You know, I can't say enough for my mechanic Chad Watts, my trainer Eldon Baker, and I'm getting married in October, so this is one of the best years, definitely.
The planets have definitely aligned for Ricky Carmichael. Talk about the pressure. I mean, we've talked about it at some of the races. I've asked you the question. You kind of shrug it off, no pressure. But when did you really start thinking about the perfect season, and what did it weigh on your mind?
Today was probably the first time I ever thought about it, because I'm not really good at the starts here, and I've never had so much luck here. And so, you know, like the first moto on the start, it really hit me, what I have accomplished this year. But, you know, I never really tried to worry about it, because I knew if I worried about it, I was going to have a hard time with it. And just kept plugging away, and I had a lot of fun this year. You know, I didn't work myself over too hard. And, you know, my mechanic, Chad Watts, a lot of pressure on him, too. You know, it takes a bike to get through as well. And, you know, we kicked butt and wouldn't trade it for anything other in the world.
Chad, you've been involved with the perfect season now. Time and time again, people talk about how great Ricky Carmichael is. It takes a motorcycle to go along with that. People say Ricky won't break down, but the bike could. The pressure on you to build the perfect bike every week, it must have been incredible.
Well, I do the same thing in and out every week. Like I told Ricky, it's a machine that has a mind of its own. I'll do everything I can do to keep it together. But thank God that he's on it. I mean, like there's a lot of other mechanics do a good job, but their riders don't win, and they don't get the recognition. But every week it's the same ritual, and thank God it worked out for us.
Well, congratulations, you guys. Perfect season. I got to ask you, Ricky, next year, what can we look forward to? I mean, we're never going to let him off the hook. Perfect season right now. Now we want to know, what do you do for an encore?
Well, you know, I try to do the same thing, but I seriously doubt it'll ever happen again. I want to try to do the same thing in Supercross. It's a lot harder Supercross than it is outdoor, but you know, these guys are stepping it up and they ain't making it any easier on us. But you know, I'm gonna have a good training camp this winter, and I'll be better than I was this year, and we're gonna do the best we can do, and whatever happens, happens.
Right on. Congratulations, guys. The championship, perfect season. David and David, I cannot believe what we just witnessed.
Well, thanks a lot, Cameron. There you see the all-time 250 national winners. Carmichael has surpassed Bob Hanna. He did it in 3 years.